got over the ARL. It's a very simple concept. A lot of people see me as a guy who's known for anime and hip-hop, and they're like, yo, how come that doesn't get to you? It's because I've been studying anime and hip-hop ever since I was young, is the reason why they can't get to me. First off, because of that. I had way too much shit that I was into before the ARL. I had side hobbies, I had so much weight, but the only problem was society wasn't supporting my statement. You know how everybody's cool with AMVs and fanships now, and how it's a part of being social instead of being in your own little world? That's the life I was living in. Like, oh my god, AMVs, after getting roasted by Justin, after getting roasted by Max, after getting roasted by Allie in school, coming home and watching all these intellectual properties, all the beauty behind the AMVs, but being clowned on in school and shit like that. Like, literally, that was crazy as fucking Lily. And then now we're in a world where we're like, dude, we're smoking. Everybody that Lily made fun of Dragon Ball Z regretted Lily. And everybody made fun of this story shit regretted it over time. And the reason why it wasn't accepted Lily back then was because of the stereotype. It's because I kept on getting roasted by Justin and I couldn't solve things verbally. Is the reason why, oh, it's the reason why you resort to Dragon Ball Z messages. It's the reason why you end up in the mental hospital and shit. And this is the exact same reason why the ARL was in denial. Do you know why? Imagine you being GL, but you happen to be in the same company, and you not rising the ranks because they told you not to do a specific move. A move that can literally bring you far in other dance leagues, but because they told you not to do that move, and you resort to do that move, it's like literally going Super Saiyan when you're told not to, basically. But they're trying to say that Super Saiyan is weak, but Super Saiyan will benefit you in another area in life. Do you get what I'm saying? You can't just say Super Saiyan is just a technique where it's a transformation, and that's where their problem was. I upgraded flow and everything 100%, but I didn't give them 100% every battle. When they started critiquing, they just started to be nitpicky to my performances. They gave me the most credit to somebody who I had to rap fast against, and then he rapped slow when I had a mid-tempo battle before, and they're like, nah, don't take a risk and shit like that. It's better if you do it this way, and they want me to do it that way the entire time. So I tried experimenting. No room for experimenting at all, and this and that. We want it to be concrete, and you know, that's really, really bad. Because that comes with cowardly, that comes with cowardice, and that comes with all this other shit. How I let go of the ARL is because literally, the AMVs, the music I listen to, the people who I grew up with, that's what makes me not take it seriously as a whole in order to cheat. I took the ARL seriously as a whole, literally where it came down to literally working hard in order to fix my flow, in order to become #1, in order to become champion. I had the right mindset, but literally, I had no idea what they wanted me to do. Is they wanted me to be so obsessed with it to a point where I cheat, that I hacked the other nigga's username in order to figure out what his lyrics are. Is that they wanted me to be so obsessed with it to a point where I go all out in it, and I have the solid receipt on paper, but I have a shitload of mental condition inside. They started to control the situation. I would win the battle, never upload it. Win the midterm battle, never upload it. Literally, they started making shit like they would repeat lines. I was like, ooh, he said this and that. And then literally after fucking the deliberation, you'd be like, yo, you gotta slow down when you rap. They used to pull shit like that over and over again. And I believed it because what they did was, there was a way in order for them to get me to upload a battle. Is if I rap slow, is if I took no risk at all, is if I made sure it was 100% concrete. You're like, oh, you got the lyrics. We just don't want you to flow that way. We don't want you to rip this. That is horrible fucking advice. Since I already have the best of both, you have to expand on the best of both instead of literally forcing somebody to be one-dimensional. Literally. And so you're saying you only want somebody doing one part of the job for the rest of the time so he can never be a manager. That's the whole point of that. When you learn multiple traits in the same job, you can become manager, you can rise up the ranks and all that. They never wanted me to have jurisdiction over the ARL. I want jurisdiction. I want to do the editing. I want to make sure this looks exactly how I envision anime and hip-hop. And they kept on saying that I had mental condition. Anime has nothing to do with hip-hop. That's why we're lucky we even have this many followers and this and that. They kept on with this constructive criticism. And then when you get older, you realize they kept on buying off more than they can chew. They took advantage of a fan base that was limited. Then later on, I figured out that they hacked the HTML code and that they were training me specifically because I had the most skill where it came to be like, I noticed that Riz references a mainstream song whenever he makes a verse. I noticed Riz does this and that. Like, none of us do that. We always stay with the continuity. We may be lyrical sometimes, we may have multi-syllables, but nobody is so on point where it comes to anime and hip-hop than Riz. He can take all the far, but not to the wrong places, and that's exactly what it was. They wanted me to give literally dim the motivation. So every battle would be like me versus Sabo. But how you gonna do that if you keep on dissing me and Sabo? Why would you give me literally a fucking goal to give you guys motivation when you take away the one thing that gives me motivation? They made sure the league was a formal shell, and they had me compare myself to weak people in order to look at me what's inside. What, you want me literally to talk to my past self and shit like this is a fucking anime shit? Oh, I'm a Korean shell clone of a fucking multiverse theory and shit. No, enough of this shit, man. But I'm really worried now. Let me get to real nitty gritty of this video and how I got over it. It's because they're so ridiculous they did shit like that. But why were they overshadowing me so long? They had no control over this situation. I had a separate life. I was going to conventions. I was getting famous off A&Bs. I was really making A&Bs for rappers and shit. I had completely separate lives. But why did they hold that against me? It's because they understood what responsibility was. I was being responsible, letting go on the ARL, getting my life together. They weren't. They hung out with the ARL like it wasn't nothing. What they did was they took advantage of the fact that it was a dark internet. They took advantage of the fact that I wasn't a loser. They all knew how to hack when I didn't. And I thought, why would you hack when you know how to rap? I'm like, what, like, how can you, like, how can the same human that's, like, sounding this fire is a fucking real full-out nerd in now? They took advantage of the fact that I didn't know how to hack, and they really, so what happened is I was rehearsing my bars for, like, literally the Goku Black, but I only sped up a little bit, and I recorded myself on my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, I changed my flow really well, and Joey was already there, so like, literally fucking, when I typed my bars to the library, he stole them, and he's like, Riz, there's no way you can't fucking prove it. I even told Joey on the fucking phone, literally, like, yo, and Joey, what's up and this and that? He's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. We gotta still battle and this and that, literally. So what happened was just, literally fucking, he expected me to battle with ghost written bars. Like, he expected me to battle after taking my bars. He's like, huh. It's like you can prove it over the internet, literally this and that. So he called me retarded in the call, knowing that he took my bars in real life, and I couldn't call him out. And this is where you guys fail. This is when I win in the ARL 100%. I already was famous for making AMVs for rappers, and so Joey called me out after I knew he stole my bars and shit. And he tried to say I had milk conditions. So what he did was he roasted me in the form of a gaslight. What he did was he put me in a bad position. If I was to call Joey out, that means I'll definitely win the roast battle, but that means they would have to imply action in real life. So what happened is I called him out for doing this and that. Oh, you try to sneak up on my baby mama doing this and that. It's okay, you still a loser and this and that. I didn't do shit to that redhead you called Nami Riz. I didn't do shit. And on a private call, I talked to Joey. I'm like, hey Joey, meet me at Royal Park. He's like, oh, you better be there. I'm like, you know what? He's probably gonna bring niggas and they're probably gonna bring guns and shit. So I played Joey. I got Joey to admit to me that he was stalking me in California once in the phone. Once. So then he calls me in a call and he's like, Riz, you're retarded. Lily, you thought that me and Leo was stalking you in California? This is how me and the ARL goes. And shit like that. And they're like, oh, it's like, if Riz is so retarded, he actually believes this shit. The fact that you're saying it is the fact that you know it's real. If it really didn't happen, you would treat me like so. But because you keep on putting emphasis on it, I know that about people because I'm the one who's actually social. The ARL is so retarded, but you think that you can get over on me, or I'm the one who's fucked, or I'm the one who actually talks to people in real life, or all you do is harass people for a living? That's why you guys are real anime fans, and I knew I couldn't hold on to believing it anymore. Come on, dude. And I really, so what happened was literally Joey started roasting me. Literally, oh, you're a scroll to fuck the moose last night. Literally, saying random shit in his head because literally he was ready to roast and I wasn't, and I was laughing at him because literally I just literally up my fame even more. Literally, it didn't matter because I still had a fan base to fall back on, and you don't understand because literally what happened was Joey was all like, oh yeah, well you ain't doing shit with your life, Riz. You're not doing shit with people when he saw me back with the girl in the parking lot. And then he saw the complex situation, how guys were hacking her account and how literally she stuck into my house and shit. But how I got a text from her account saying that's who called the police, so I keep getting blocked. That could be a guy, it could be a girl. You figure that out when you get older and shit. But because he was flirting me in the parking lot in general, that supports Joey's statement that I'm not doing shit with people because it never expands. Oh, Riz, that's when we're in the get to know you, the first impression, this and that. That's why they create stranger danger is. They don't actually know you. That's why they did this. We're still human. I still have a dick, she still has a vagina. So like literally, this is the way I got over the ARL. This is how I know about life. I applied life to ARL. Whenever they tried to hit me with the running gag in chat that I'm retarded and that I stay low tier because I didn't listen and that I kept on trying to do my own thing instead of listening to them, That is how I make it big in Hollywood instead of really listening to your fucking garage fucking band. I'm sorry, man. That's all it fucking was. And you have to understand. So what Joey did is like, he's like, man, you ain't doing shit. You're not going to work in school. Whereas after I already got him to confess to me on the phone, and then he's like, this is not it. You're not doing shit right. Start acting like you're an adult, Liz. Get a job and just like that. He started doing that, knowing the fucking struggles. He's like, Lily, and he's like, Lily, it's like, you're not struggling in this and that. And so afterwards, I let Joey win. I'm like, wow, Joey, and I let him win. Do you know why? Because at that point I knew everything was true, and if I know I'd argue with him, it would be a waste of my time. That's how I got over the ARL. That's just one example. I never fiended for the ARL to come back. They come at me like I'm this crackhead that I'm begging for the ARL to come back when I can live without it, and they know that, and they're trying to put emphasis on it each and every day. What made the ARL formidable opponent wasn't what they were doing, it's the platform that they had. I'm like, I can do so much more with that platform, it's not even funny. I can get people who are actually passionate about it. I can get diss track after diss track after diss track after battlers. We can get secret interviews with battlers. We get like, literally, oh, one battler fucked the other girl's bitch, but since we're anime fans and we don't know how to pull bitches at all, we can't do that. And that's what made the ARL full of shit. I used to hit it with top class MTV shit. You know Troy, the guy who's known for spilling multi-syllabic rhymes but speaks boring as fuck. Literally, I called Troy Trainer one time. He's like, Riz, say that shit to my face. I'm like, we're both running a race for my life on the internet and stuff like that. I have the right. And so I kicked myself in the chat, and then he tried to bring me back in chat. Oh, you can't just get away with talking shit. Oh, I can when you don't literally let me be mid-tier after uploading that Sabo battle. And that's what real life is. In real life, now that I've absorbed, now that it's no longer a weight on my shoulders, I can shake shit freely like that. Because I feel my life with so much other shit to a point where that isn't even a decimal at that point. And they understood that then, but what would happen when the chips are down, when I'm tired of wearing out all my other options and the ARL is always available? That's because I'm being responsible 9 times out of 10, and when I feel relaxing, maybe I should get another call. But guess what happened when I started getting jobs, when I started getting girls, I started getting the ARL call. I'm like, oh, the guy who lost the chromosome is here. I'm like, okay, man, alright, man, I lost the chromosome. And he's like, dude, why isn't he fighting back? And then I absorbed the laughs after me chilling is established. After I absorbed the laugh and I played the fuck out of them. Like, yo, no, I'm staying here for your guys' entertainment. All you guys use you guys for entertainment. So I'm gonna get done with my real life. I'm gonna come to the chat after I'm done doing everything else. And then they act like the chat is what I hold on to. Like, does it ever click in your head, oh, Riz hasn't been here for a while, this and that? That's why. And literally, you don't understand. And I understand that the ARL still was this shit even in its prime. When I started watching cartoons, like actually started watching cartoons like how you're supposed to, instead of being in my own little world, once I actually understood the dialogue, I'm like, dude, these fucking American cartoons are talking better shit than the people in the ARL. Do you know why? Because literally, they're commenting on a situation. They're making jokes like a grown man, because a grown man wrote that cartoon. I realized that over time. And Joey and all them making this random shit that's in their head that's not actually fucking true is never gonna be funnier than somebody actually commenting on the situation. And literally, fucking, it's crazy. I started literally watching anime sub and fucking, you know, when fucking, you know, you don't like classy funerals, right there? Like, literally, fucking One Piece is talking better shit than ARL. That all happened when I relaxed and when I stopped listening to their peer pressure. I changed my flow, I beat Kareem, I did so much shit and they never did, and so I stopped seeking their approval, and then I'm all like, oh, this and that, and then they put me in a position when if I wanted to get my media career done faster, because I was already famous off literally their fucking A&Bs for the rappers, the bitches on Snapchat. I was already famous for being social, but there was a slight running gag that literally, it was slightly unprofessional, but it was covered by the love because my media came from understanding. So when Mr. Fab, E40, or fucking my anime and shit like that, and all commented on it didn't get in the way because they stood right then and there. I'm like, he's not submitting to that dot. Not moved. We're saving his talent for something good. Yeah, we're putting his talent to good use. We don't want him literally being those random niggas on MTV. He's a visionary. We gotta make sure we take him partly. That's how the rappers treat me ever first team. Like, oh, I don't care if you have green eyes. You still gotta get a card and this and that. And Fab is like, motherfucking 40 pop out door. If I had a tire on the top, where's the butler? Bitch! No, seriously, fucking, like, literally, when nerds would come at me a day, a fucking rapper would shut them up first thing. Like, hold up, I know people that are the same position as him because they made fun of me because I was at group home and shit. I'm like, oh, you're just mad because he's at group home and he's not committing crimes and shit. E40 and all them would shut them up immediately back in the day. It said that it was the understanding, and they already knew I was clear on my way. And they knew, we don't want them to have it on paper yet. You see what the fuck Neff gets into with these strippers offline? I'm like, bruh, they're for show, not touch. And literally, fucking this and that, literally. That was literally the problem, this and that. So literally, I was getting there, but there was still time. It was solely for study, and the ARL tried to control my mindset before I got it up there and shit. I got the bitch, but I didn't get the car, and they kept on trying to spam that catch-22. I'm like, literally, like, the fact that I have a life outside doesn't click to you, Lily, and I stopped getting obsessed with ARL. I started getting obsessed with Ryan in general, like Geekdom 101, listening to podcasts. I already had so many separate lives in the ARL to the point, if you're not going to comply, you're going to give me a hard time. I'm not going to go all out in this thing, but I will keep that idea in my mind, Lily, and they think that they're going to get away with this shit. I'm like, dude, like, Lily, you're not going to get away with a good idea like that and abusing that fact, and then you're going to treat it like a playground when you need to treat it like a responsibility. You know what's going to happen? Is somebody else is going to take it removed instead of it just shutting down. You think because you guys already have a head start when it comes to wordplay and shit and the character that literally you can hold this over somebody's head forever, but once somebody was dedicated to the ARL and put 100 in their crapper, you guys fucked around. You guys won't want it, would you? And we can do that. We can easily hack your HTML code, literally, with professional government issues. Fucking, we can take that over. We can buy the ARL, and literally, we can do whatever the fuck we want and shit like this. Like, this is what true greed is. And fucking, they thought they had me on the ropes. It's like, oh, he's getting bitches, all that, but we still have something professional on paper to hold it. It's not professional if it's fucking at the same rate of fast food. Literally, you're doing extraordinary effort just to get a minimum wage outcome. I mean, the idea is cool, but the idea is never worth bending your back over. And they thought that eventually, if they kept on making the other side look pretty enough, that I will bend my back in order to fucking let niggas get away with fucking stolen bars and shit, as long as they give me a decent battle to work with and shit. Giving me catch-22s and platforms to work on, while I already had multiple platforms to work on. And shit like that. And they tried literally bribing me and telling me to let go of my life in order to dedicate myself to ARL and shit, because I had the most drive, the most disaster. What they tried to do is they wanted me to limit my sense of graffiti and go down to a basic office job, basically. They didn't want it to be actual anime and hip-hop. They wanted to keep it underground and keep anime, you know, subjective. That's why they always got away with making jokes over making complexity bars, where anime is already written complex. Anime is already written with literally beauty and substance, and what we're doing is when we're dumbing down these battles, when they could be very lyrical, but literally making them literally specifically for a small region of community, not even the whole community, it's very, very disrespectful, because anime is a very multi-dimensional source of media, and you're taking away the substance. So what you're doing is literally, you're not taking away the dialogue or like anything. Like literally, what the ARL literally did back when it used to be lyrical, and what they did in order to fool me, in order to give them motivation, is they went from being lyrical, coming with punch signs, multi-syllabic rhymes, schemes, literally entering actual bars, to literally simplicity just enough to get by, just to say we're not taking risk. So what they would do is they would have a statement, they would improvise with a whole bunch of rag shit, but they would keep a Nas element in there to keep me in check. Like, oh, you think you can call me out? Oh, you don't know what this one thing means. Like, oh, it's just like, so they would have, like, literally, they would have a whole bunch of bullshit, but they would keep riddles in between in order to, like, literally keep it a fucking mystery of why I can't rise ranks. I'm like, I can't rise ranks because you're full of shit, and it's all clear in the future. You're not gonna get away with that forever. Just like a girl who's in the now of a guy in high school. I'm never gonna sleep with that guy unless he ends up sleeping with him. I'm telling you, that's why I know about life and shit like that. Like, you're not gonna get away like with that shit, because I know how life plays out. I know how literally I've seen shit happen to too many people, too many fucking timelines, oh fucking shit like that. That's the same thing as thinking you're gonna be the school jock forever. Oh, I'm gonna be the most popular guy in high school forever. I'm never gonna have to face society, and my popularity is gonna save me from literally everything. My popularity is gonna get me a girl my age instead of a girl who's just obsessed with flashy jewelry and shit. You can't use the same tool for every aspect in life. And literally, so that's just it. This is how I got over the ARL, because I knew that they were childish. So I just found something better to do, man. Literally, fucking, I was not gonna deal with their abuse. The bang wasn't worth the buck, so I just left, man. If I'm doing all this, I'm still not getting credit, and that's when I learned how to get away with less. And then literally, because I already put in the effort and shit, like I've already given you a reason to go out with me. Oh, so you're not gonna literally make me have fun? All right, then. And then she ends up following me. That's literally what the formula of life is. Fucking, when you fucking got it down pat, you just gotta let you go and shit. You know, fucking, I didn't hold on to it like that. But whenever there was an opportunity, I took advantage of it, and they thought that I was desperate. They're like, oh, Riz is so dedicated. That's why he always references a fucking hip hop song in his verse. That's why he always do this and that. Of course, he's gonna be passionate about bringing it back. Not if you make it abusive, not when you make it unfair, and not when you hold me up to a higher standard than anyone else. Not when literally you make excuses for other people and not me, and especially not after the way you treat somebody, you literally. And that's all character. The reason why I'm so strong, the reason why I'm so multi-dimensional is because I had a life before the ARL.